Hey there! Welcome back to another episode of Needham Hills Vinyl Discussion. Grab a glass of whatever tickles your fancy and a seat, because today we're heading back to the spring of 1975 to explore a lesser known but a favorite song of mine titled Tell Me When the Whistle Blows. It's from the autobiographical concept album Captain Fantastic and the Brown Dirt Cowboys by Elton John and Bernie Taupin. I'll discuss the Elton John band, the album, the song, and then place the release in context to world events, all that happened in 1975. And what a year that was. Again, I'm sitting in front of my vinyl record collection and I'm excited to get into it. So let's go. I've been asked, of all the Elton John albums, why did I choose Captain Fantastic? Well, the album was released here in Canada in May 1975. I had just turned 13 years old. Someone Saved My Life Tonight was playing on AM radio, all over AM radio. FM wasn't a thing at the time in Nova Scotia. I loved the song. And I collected bottles, saved and scrounged money to purchase the album from Sam the Record Man on Barrington Street here in Halifax for $5.35 tax in. It was the first LP I purchased with my own money. The Captain Fantastic album was certified gold before its release. It reached #1 in the first week of release, and it was the first album in history to achieve both honors. It sold 1.4 million copies within 4 days of release. That's incredible. Now, the album art is amazing to me. I've always been drawn to LPs with an art-flavored visual like Captain Fantastic. Albums back in the 70s were more than vinyl records. They were wrapped in art, and many contained cool items inside their sleeves. Check this out. Here's a poster of the front and back cover to Captain Fantastic, the original release in '75. I'll show it to you. This was inside the album sleeve. Isn't that cool? The Captain Fantastic album cover image is an interpretation, a take if you will, on a 1490s painting called The Garden of Earthly Delights by a Dutch painter named Hieronymus Bosch. And the book's written by Michael Connelly, and the TV show based on Connelly's Bosch books got the lead character's name from this 1490s painter, Hieronymus Bosch, Harry Bosch. For more information, check the narrative below for links. Now, with the original Captain Fantastic and the Brown Dirt Cowboys vinyl album release, and in addition to the cover poster I showed, we also got a lyric book. There's one song on the lyric book that's not on the album, and it's called Dogs in the Kitchen. And there's a second booklet, a scrap booklet, that contains images, journal entries, and news cutouts. Check this out, I'll show you the books. This is the lyric booklet, and there's multiple pages. I'm certainly not able to see it clearly. And this is the scrap booklet. Put that down. Interestingly, the last 4 pages is a comic strip. I purchased Captain Fantastic as my grade 8 school year came to a close. As I mentioned, I was 13. My father grew up in the 1950s and he wasn't a fan of long hair on guys. I was growing my hair and he was reluctantly comfortable with it, reluctantly. Now, he wasn't a fan though. So, when I showed him Elton John's album cover that I bought with my own money, I was so excited to do so. He lost his mind when he saw Davy Johnston's long hair. And it's not just because of the length, it's clear he used a curling iron. And he was wearing a white choker necklace. Being a rebellious 13-year-old at the time, to be honest, I kind of liked the album a little more because of that. Is that wrong? Probably. To play the vinyl record, I had a small portable handheld record player with a speaker in it. It was an all-in-one unit. It had a handle for carrying, and it took batteries, or you could plug it in with the electrical cord. The needle was damaged and needed replacing. So instead of replacing it and for it to last longer, I taped 10 pennies to the top of the arm above the stylus so the weight of the pennies would push the needle into the record grooves so it would play longer. It worked, it truly did. I don't have a picture of my record player, but here's an image of my wife Karen's. They were all the rage in the 1960s and 70s. That summer, my family and I were camping, and I brought along my new Elton John LP and record player. One rainy day, I was in our trailer. We were very poor, so I don't know where my parents got the trailer from. But I was playing the album, and a 2-year-old child from a visiting family was fascinated with how the record went round and round and round. And he grabbed the needle arm, and the needle dug into that record. To this day, when I hear the bridge of Someone Saved My Life Tonight, I expect to hear the bridge to skip several times at the specific time it did on my vinyl record, because I listened to that album with the skips over and over and over through the years. What a memory. It brings a smile to me today. Not so much at the time though. Back to the song, Tell Me When the Whistle Blows. This song lyric, I believe, captured a moment in time of Bernie Taupin's disillusionment, feeling the pressure of fame and perhaps emotional burnout, trapped, needing to escape the noise and craziness of big city London, England, and the wild glitz and glam of the music machine and scene. In reading into the lyrics, Bernie was thinking he should leave it all behind to go back home to the country. One line in the lyric states, "Has the country kid still got his soul?" Bernie mentioned in multiple interviews over the years that at the beginning of his career with Elton, he would travel to and from his family home in rural Lincolnshire to London via a train. Thus, Tell Me When the Whistle Blows. Bernie, the lyricist, was only 25 years old when the album was released. It's a fantastic lyric. Bernie also wrote lyrics for Alice Cooper, Heart, Starship, Melissa Manchester, and many more, but I'm only going to name a few. The lyrics are incredible. What a body of work. Bernie Taupin is my all-time favorite lyricist, and Elton John, my favorite music artist. Of the 711 vinyl records you see behind me, 31 are Elton John's, and my favorite is Captain Fantastic and the Brown Dirt Cowboy. Musically, Tell Me When the Whistle Blows, to me, is a soulful, funky, edgy rock song. The rhythm section, Nadja Olson on drums and Dee Murray on bass, man, they're strong, they're tight, they're clear in the mix. And to me, they groove like Motown. So cool. As a drummer, I love Nigel's playing on this song and throughout the whole album. The horns and string orchestration has this dark cinematic feel, and there's a punchy, brassy edge to them, similar to Philly Soul, I think. Davy Johnson, you know, the guy with the long curly hair. Well, he got this cool cool, funky electric guitar going on, and Elton's piano lays a moody foundation. To me, it's funky soul meets British glam that grooves hard while still sounding sad, longing. It's an awesome, awesome song. Awesome, awesome album. Check it out. Let me know your thoughts. And Elton John's vocals are so cool. Man, can he interpret a lyric. He sings with this soulful longing and yearning quality. His phrasing gives the groove space in the verses, and there's this intensity in the chorus. Also, this is the last Elton John album that includes the original band members. I just love this song, Tell Me When the Whistle Blows. 50 years on, and I'm still loving it as much today as I did when I first spun it when I was 13 years old. For me, that's what vinyl records are all about. Finding and loving songs not on the radio, but too essential not to hear. The best songs for me are not the radio hits, but the songs on the album that accompany the hits. Songs like Tell Me When the Whistle Blows. Okay, I'll stop. That said, I was 13 years old when I first purchased this album. What did I know about analyzing a song? I just loved them. I thought the songs on the album, and in particular, Tell Me When the Whistle Blows, were just fantastic. And that's all that matters, really. So, let's put the album and song in context to world events. What happened in the world in 1975 when Elton John released the album Captain Fantastic and the Brown Dirt Cowboy? First, the Vietnam War ends. While the United States did not suffer a direct military defeat in Vietnam, it is considered a loss because the U.S. failed to achieve its primary objective, and that is of preventing a communist takeover of Vietnam. The U.S. withdrew all its forces, and South Vietnam fell to communist forces. To learn more, check out the image of the book that you see on your screen. I love this album as well. Wings with Paul McCartney releases Venus and Mars. What an album. The Biological Weapons Convention came into force. Micro-Soft, initially called, and then became Microsoft, was founded in 1975. Paul Allen and Bill Gates were childhood friends from Seattle when they started Microsoft. Allen was working at Honeywell and Gates was doing pre-law at Harvard. Now, thinking of Tell Me When the Whistle Blows, regarding Bernie's lyrics lamenting to go home to the country, in 1975, John Denver's song, Thank God I'm a Country Boy, reaches #1 on the charts. And Kiss releases the Live One, I Got It, I Love It, a game-changing double live record for me. The SS Edmund Fitzgerald, a USA freighter, sank in Lake Superior on its way to Canada during a storm in November 1975. It went down with the loss of the entire crew of 29. Gordon Lightfoot immortalized the sinking in his radio hit that was 6 minutes and 30 seconds long. The song was The Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald. And when Gordon Lightfoot passed away in 2023, the Mariners Church in Detroit rang their church bell 30 times in his memory, but also it was a tribute to the 29 who lost their lives on the Edmund Fitzgerald, as well as one extra one, the 30th, for Gordon Lightfoot himself. And in 1975, Elton John releases his album, Captain Fantastic and the Brown Dirt Cowboy, with the song Tell Me When the Whistle Blows. Before we head out and I spin Tell Me Where the Whistle Blows for you on my turntable, check out Elton John's music on your favorite streaming platforms. If you've not heard the Captain Fantastic album in full, have a listen. For me, it's his best. I just love it. I'd be surprised if you've not heard Someone Saved My Life Tonight, but check out Tower of Babel, Bitter Fingers, Gotta Get a Meal Ticket. I should stop or I'll end up listing all the songs on the album. They're all good. Check out Elton John's website, eltonjohn.com, and you can purchase t-shirts, records, books, an Elton John Monopoly game. Imagine. Elton John eyewear as well, and much, much more. All links are below in the narrative. If you found this deep dive into Elton John's music history interesting, do hit the like and the subscribe buttons and leave a comment, perhaps on your favorite deep cut. Who knows? And don't forget to purchase Elton John's music on vinyl. There is nothing like listening to music on vinyl. So now I'll play a little of Tell Me When the Whistle Blows on the way out. Thanks for stopping by. And we'll see you next time on Needham Hills Vinyl Discussion. Ciao.